What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Thursday, August 1st, 2024, and I have an emergency alert to share with you guys. Right now, it is 16:05 Eastern Time here in the United States, and we have some major breaking news coming in from the Middle East. So, I want to update you guys on the situation with Iran and Israel in case you haven't been following my live streams, which I've been keeping up 24/7. So you can go into the live streams and hang out and exchange information, check out the flight trackers, check out the live cameras, and listen to our nuclear forces. So I'm going to try to keep those up 24/7 over the next couple of days because I do believe that a massive strike on Israel is coming. I think Iran is going to launch its biggest attack on Israel yet. So I do believe this is going to be historic in a bad way. Last time Iran attacked Israel, they launched like 200 or 300 missiles at Israel, and it took a combined effort of like half a dozen countries: Israel, Jordan, the UK, the US, France, Italy, and probably some others, Saudi Arabia. It took a combined effort of all of those countries to intercept the missiles that Iran launched. This time around, Iran is going to launch probably 3 times as many missiles. Okay. So it's going to be very difficult for the US and allies to intercept every single missile if they launch thousands of them and drones. And from what I'm hearing, is that this time around, the Iranian proxies as well as Hezbollah are going to join in. So this is going to be an attack from all sides on Israel. Okay. So get prepared, guys. This is going to escalate because then Israel is going to retaliate back. Okay. And it's just going to keep escalating. So the Iranian supreme leader, the Ayatollah Khamenei, ordered a direct strike on Israel in response to the killing of Hamas chief Ismail Haniyeh. The New York Times is reporting, citing 3 unnamed Iranian officials briefed on the matter, including 2 IRGC members. The report says the directive was given yesterday morning after the emergency meeting of the Iranian Supreme National Security Council. Okay, so the leader of Iran has already given the orders for a direct strike on Israel, guys. This is very, very serious. And the speaker of the Iranian parliament said, quote, the Zionist entity will pay an unimaginably heavy price for violating Iran's safe borders. Now, in Iran, they've raised the red flag, okay? And the red flag in Islam means revenge. It symbolizes the unjust spilling of blood and revenge, okay? So this is very, very serious, guys. I can't remember the last time Iran has flown the red flag of revenge over Tehran. This is very, very serious, guys, okay? And Iran has sent out a message to other Arab countries warning them that if they open their airspace for Israel to counterattack after Iran's retaliation, it would make that country a liable target for Iranian forces, okay? So Iran warning other Middle Eastern countries, do not open your airspace to Israel or we will attack you, okay? We will treat you as an enemy just like Israel. And the Houthis have confirmed that they will take part in the response. And the Israeli president, Isaac Herzog, is urging Israelis to, quote, show responsibility and diligence and adhere to instructions and orders, an apparent hint that tough times may be ahead. Okay, so Israel's civil defense is now on high alert, guys. Okay, they are getting ready for a massive attack. This is going to be bigger than what happened in April. And I think we're going to see another culinary night, except this time it's going to be like culinary night on steroids. I think it's going to be the most intense thing we've seen so far in the OSINT community. Okay, and I will be tracking the nuclear forces. You can count on me for that. I do have a radio expert that is a consultant of the NYPrepper channel. This person has decades of ham radio operation experience, and he will be assisting me when everything goes down so we can decipher and understand what's going on from a radio perspective. Okay, so I will be providing coverage as it unfolds. And at the emergency UN Security Council meeting that was called by Iran yesterday, Iran's permanent representative to the UN said that the UN Security Council must take immediate measures to hold Israel accountable for the assassination of the head of Hamas's political bureau. And at the UN, China, Russia, and Algeria condemned the assassination of Ismail Haniyeh, and the US, the UK, and France did not condemn his assassination, rather saying that Iran was supporting destabilizing actors in the region. And Tel Aviv's Ichilov Medical Center has cleared its underground parking lot, preparing to convert it into a fortified underground hospital if necessary. Israel's health ministry has established teams of doctors ready for rapid deployment to severely affected areas in case of mass casualties. This is being reported by Khan News. And Iran is now deploying S-300 air defenses in western Iran. Jordan has just issued a NOTAM, a notice to airmen, requiring all flights to Jordan to carry an additional 45 minutes of fuel. So that's pretty interesting. And the Pentagon said yesterday that they have now rerouted and redeployed 12 warships into the Middle East. Okay, and this is in addition to the WASP Amphibious Ready Group, which has 2,500 Marines and a total of 3 ships. And then we have the USS Teddy Roosevelt, which we know includes at least 3 Arleigh Burke-class destroyers. And each one of those Arleigh Burke-class destroyers has 96 missile tubes, so they can each carry almost 100 missiles. So that would allow them to carry up to almost 300 interceptors that they can use to intercept Iranian ballistic missiles. But usually the Arleigh Burke-class destroyers are not 100% loaded with just interceptors. They're usually loaded also with some anti-ship missiles for self-defense and some land attack missiles. Okay, so assuming that they have about 75% of their missile tubes filled with interceptors, you're looking at around 200 to 250 interceptors that those 3 destroyers in the Persian Gulf have right now. Now, the U.S. is saying that they sent 12 warships, so that's in addition to all these other warships. Okay, so guys, get prepared. Things are about to get really, really crazy. And our nuclear forces are currently on high alert this afternoon. And we have a presidential doomsday plane that went to Offutt Air Base. This is a huge sign that something is about to go down, because they probably just moved either the president or the vice president or a chief of staff or one of our generals to Offutt Air Base, okay, which is home of U.S. Strategic Command. That's the basically brain of the U.S. military. Okay, this is where they took Dick Cheney after 9/11 and Bush as well. Okay, so potentially Biden going to Offutt Air Base, okay, a doomsday bunker and also home of Strategic Command. They can command the entire U.S. military from Nebraska here, from Stratcom headquarters, okay? We also have 2 B-52 nuclear bombers airborne this afternoon and 2 nuclear war command and control planes up in the air. One is heading out into the Gulf right now. We also have a lot of sub-hunter activity off the U.S. East Coast. Here you can actually see 2 sub hunters that were active off the coast of Long Island and New Jersey near the Hudson Canyon area, and they were flying really low here for several hours this afternoon. You could see only about 3,000 to 4,000 feet all afternoon here, guys, just doing loops. So it looks like Russian subs are probably off the coast of Long Island and New York City. Maybe this is the Russian Belgorod submarine that carries the Poseidon underwater nuclear torpedo that has 100 megaton blast yield. Maybe they're hanging out over here, and if anything gets crazy, they can launch that Poseidon right into New York Harbor and basically just annihilate the entire tri-state area, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, with that 100 megaton warhead and generate a massive radioactive tsunami that'll flood the entire northeast coastline. I don't know, guys. I'm just saying, I don't know. Okay, but these sub hunters looping over here is very, very unusual. This is actually a very popular deep sea fishing spot for people in Long Island. When I lived on Long Island for a little while, people would take boats out here and fish right off the edge of the continental shelf near the Hudson Canyon. This is actually an old canyon from the Hudson River back when the water levels were lower. There was a massive canyon here. Okay, and there's a lot of tuna and different types of predatory fish that hang out right off the continental shelf here. So this is probably about 300 miles off the coast of New York City. Very concerning. And Australia has called on its citizens to immediately depart from Lebanon using commercial flights while they are still available, with Foreign Minister Penny Wong stating now is the time to leave. The security situation could quickly deteriorate with little or no notice. This update was sponsored by Patriot Supply. Guys, Patriot Supply has brought back their 25% discount on their 3-month emergency food supply. And to get the discount, you got to use the link preparewithnYprepper.com. And the link is in the description below this video. But this 3-month emergency food supply has a 25-year shelf life. It includes over 2,000 calories per day, breakfasts, lunches, dinners, drinks, and snacks, all contained within 6 rugged water-resistant buckets, and free shipping is included. So use the link preparewithnYprepper.com to get $200 off or 25% off of the Patriot Supply 3-month emergency food supply. The link is in the description below this video. Free shipping is included. They also have a general store where they sell all kinds of prepping and survival products, and they're always running various discounts. And to get to their general store, you just got to click on the Patriot Supply logo when you get to preparewithnYprepper.com at the top of the page, and you'll see their general store where they sell all kinds of prepping and survival products, and they're always running discounts here. So use the link preparewithnYprepper.com to get 25% off of the Patriot Supply 3-month emergency food supply, and the link is in the description below this video. And Australia's Prime Minister Anthony Albanese urges thousands of Australian citizens in Lebanon to leave and warns that the Beirut airport could soon close. I take the opportunity to say to Australians, do not travel to Lebanon at the moment. Albanese told reporters in Sydney, there is a risk that the Beirut airport might not be open for commercial flights, and given the number of people who are there, there's no guarantee that we can guarantee that people will be able to come home through other means if that airport is shut. Okay, so the Australian Prime Minister saying we cannot guarantee that we're going to be able to evacuate you if the Beirut airport closes, so you have to leave now. And the Australian Foreign Minister is saying the same thing. Okay, now yesterday, the U.S. issued a do not travel warning for Lebanon. Okay, a level 4 do not travel advisory was posted yesterday for Lebanon, and multiple countries in Europe are telling their citizens to leave Lebanon. And we do have the WASP Amphibious Ready Group, which has 2,500 Marines heading towards Lebanon right now, where it's going to link up with the British Navy, and they're probably going to start evacuating people. And a Lufthansa flight from Munich to Tel Aviv was unexpectedly diverted to Cyprus on Thursday, and an Austrian Airlines flight landed in Sofia instead of Ben Gurion Airport near Tel Aviv. They were both unaware of the flight restrictions in place at Ben Gurion. Okay, so Ben Gurion Airport is canceling a lot of flights. So, guys, get prepared. It's all going to spiral out of control very, very soon. Okay, I am extremely concerned. I've never felt this concerned since probably the start of the Ukraine war. And want to just show you guys what's going on over Europe right now. So, earlier this afternoon, we had this reconnaissance plane patrolling northeastern Poland and the border of Lithuania with Belarus. And also, we had a British strategic air transport plane go to Estonia. Okay, so the UK is moving some strategic cargo to Estonia, guys. We've been seeing a lot of NATO reconnaissance drones in Poland and in the Baltics, and it does appear that Russia is about to attack the Baltics and possibly Poland. I think it's going to happen sometime this fall before the next president gets sworn in here in the U.S. But this is very concerning to see this particular reconnaissance plane, Jake 17, focus all of its efforts on northeast Poland and the Suwałki Gap and the border of Lithuania and Belarus. Okay, so this is the area right here where things could pop off. Okay, we could see Russia attack Estonia. We could see Belarus and Russia attack Lithuania and northeast Poland. Now, Poland just announced that they're going to be moving 17,000 troops to the northeastern part of their country. They're going to station them here in this city, Białystok. Okay, but this is going to be their headquarters, but they're going to be spread out throughout this area, and they're also moving another mechanized brigade now to this area. Now, Poland announced a few weeks ago that they're going to be building the largest defense line in Europe since World War II along their border with Belarus and possibly also Russia. So this is extremely serious, guys. The situation is very, very serious. And the capital of Lithuania is literally only 20 miles away from Belarus, and there are no NATO forces here to stop a Russian and Belarusian and Chinese advance to Vilnius. Okay, the nearest NATO battle groups are all the way in Alytus and Kaunas, which are both like a good 50 to 75 miles away, maybe even more. That's in a straight line. But if you go down these roads, it's going to be longer. Okay, so they're not going to be able to get to Vilnius in time to protect it. And furthermore, there's only a few dozen infantry fighting vehicles at these bases. They don't have hundreds and hundreds of tanks. There's no combat aviation anywhere in Lithuania. The nearest combat aviation is in either northern Poland or western Poland. And so that's going to take a good couple hours for them to get scrambled and to plan out missions and provide the air support needed to slow the advance. But this is very concerning, guys. I'm very concerned about Russia overtaking Vilnius and holding it. And then simultaneously, while they hold Vilnius, they could then try to go into the Suwałki Gap in the midst of the chaos of NATO trying to decide what to do. Okay, do they try to kick Russia out of Vilnius? Or do they deploy forces in the Suwałki Gap? Then Russia's going to go in and try to take Suwałki Gap. But Vilnius is a good-sized city. If Russia goes in there and holds it, it's going to be hard to kick them out. You're talking about, urban warfare. Here's more sub-hunters off the coast of the U.S. This was earlier this morning. Two P-8 Poseidons took off from Patuxent River, which is a highly secretive base on the Chesapeake Bay. And both of these sub-hunters went down to the Atlantic off the coast of North Carolina. This is very concerning, guys. Something is going on. We had a sub-hunter operating in the Eastern Mediterranean last night, a P-3 Orion, a U.S. Navy sub-hunter off the coast of Syria, Lebanon, and Israel. And we also had a Polish Air Force plane leave Amman, Jordan last night, a C-130, which is very rare. I wonder if Poland is evacuating some of their citizens from the region. And we had a B-1 strategic bomber take off in the middle of the night last night from the Black Hills and go somewhere up into Canada, and it turned its transponder off somewhere over central Montana, north of Billings. So I don't know where it ended up going, but looks like it might have went to Russia or Asia. Very concerning. And then we had another Russian military cargo plane go to Kaliningrad yesterday, and at the same time, we also had another U.S. military reconnaissance drone patrolling northern and eastern Poland. More sub hunters off the East Coast yesterday, flying low off the coast of Virginia Beach. And what you're looking at here is the picture of the first F-16 in Ukraine, possibly, or one of the first F-16s in Ukraine. This was taken in Lviv. It was flying over Lviv, which is in western Ukraine. So apparently the first batch of F-16s have arrived in Ukraine. Apparently 6 planes were provided by the Netherlands. This was reported by the Times of the UK, citing an undisclosed source. Okay, so Ukraine now has 6 F-16s. In total, they're supposed to get 79, and they're going to have American missiles, including air-to-ground cruise missiles and standoff missiles, air-to-air missiles, and anti-ship missiles. Okay, so with all these F-16s, Ukraine is now going to be able to strike the bases where Russia is launching their bombers from to conduct bombing runs on Ukraine. And then also they're going to be able to shoot down the actual bombers that are airborne, okay? Because they're going to have long range air to air missiles, and they could literally try to shoot down the Russian bombers that are launching all these missiles at Ukraine. This is going to be huge, guys, okay? Ukraine is going to start shooting down Russian bombers with American missiles and NATO F-16s. They're also going to be attacking various targets inside of Russia, military targets and bomber bases. Okay, Russia's not going to be happy about that, and I think that's why they're preparing for an escalation, and that's why I think they're going to invade the Baltics and potentially launch missiles at NATO. I think they could launch missiles into Poland and Romania and the Baltics and try to hit some NATO bases. And I think we're going to see it, guys. I really do, because NATO has shown that they're afraid of Putin and they're afraid of escalation, so they're not going to do anything. Okay, how many missiles have flown into Poland already? How many drones have crashed into Romania? Romania had to build bunkers for their citizens who live near Ukraine. So when Russia attacks Ukraine with drones, their citizens have a place to hide in case the drones crash into Romania. Okay, just last week, several drones crashed into Romania, the extent of which we don't know because it's being kept secret. Okay, at least 3+ missiles flew into Poland. Some of them crashed into Poland. Okay, these were tests. Russia is testing NATO's response. And so they figure, well, we can send missiles into Poland, we can send drones into Romania, and NATO doesn't do anything about it. They don't shoot them down. They don't retaliate. So why don't we just send a missile right into one of the NATO bases? Why don't we send drones into one of the NATO bases and see what happens? You know, and I think that's what it's going to come down to. Now, Russia is doing their third phase of their tactical nuclear weapons exercises with Belarus, and I think this is the last phase, okay? And the next time they whip out the tactical nukes, it's going to be to actually strike Ukraine, potentially the Baltics, Finland, and Poland, okay? So get prepared, guys. Things are really getting crazy. And Romania's defense ministry confirmed yesterday that it found more drone fragments near the village of Siatalchoi across the Danube River from the Ukrainian border. Russia attacked Ukraine overnight on July 25th with 38 Shahed drones targeting port infrastructure in Odessa Oblast. 3 drones were lost after crossing the border with Romania. Okay, so they don't tell us the full story, guys. When it first happened, they didn't say anything. They were very quiet about it. They said, oh, we found some fragments. And now they're saying that they lost 3 drones somewhere over Romania's airspace. How do we know it's not 6 or 10? Okay. Later, Bucharest said that Russian drone debris had once again been found on their territory. Following the attack, the search for wreckage continued for several days along the Danube River, according to the statement. Apart from Chiatalchoi village, searches were conducted near the settlements of Niculitel and Chalia Vechi, but no wreckage was found there. Romania's defense ministry said that the drone wreckage landed outside the settlements and no people or infrastructure had been affected. The ministry also condemned Russia's attacks on Ukraine, saying that they are unjustified and seriously contradict international law. It was not the first time that wreckage of drones likely from Russia had been found on Romanian territory. Russia has repeatedly targeted Ukrainian port infrastructure on the Danube River that separates Ukraine and Romania. On July 25th, Romania's defense ministry said it found Russian drone debris near the town of Ploru, across the Danube River from the Ukrainian city of Ismail. Romanian President Klaus Iohannis said in September of 2023 that while Russian drones are not intentionally targeting Romania, the situation is still unacceptable. Romania has taken measures to protect its citizens who live close to the Ukrainian border, including the construction of air raid shelters and the deployment of drone defense systems. So I showed you guys the video footage of Romanian anti-air guns literally shooting at Russian drones, okay, over the Danube River. Romania's anti-air guns, similar to, let's say, a U.S. CRAM, were engaging Russian drones trying to fly over the Danube. So, guys, get prepared, okay? Things are really getting crazy. And users of YouTube across Russia reported problems today with accessing YouTube's website and watching videos, according to Down Detector and Down Radar monitoring sites. The news comes days after a Russian lawmaker warned that the government would deliberately slow down YouTube loading speeds in response to Google's refusal to comply with Russian authorities' demands. The largest number of problems were reported in Moscow Oblast, but users also experienced issues in western regions like Leningrad Oblast or Krasnodar Krai, or in the far eastern reaches of the country like Vladivostok. So, wow, Russia is throttling down YouTube across their country. Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gershkovich, who was illegally arrested in Russia in March of 2023 and accused of spying by Russia, is now going to return to the U.S. as part of a massive prisoner swap with Russia that is underway. And the Ukrainian military is claiming that a Russian base in Syria was attacked by Ukrainian special forces. Very interesting. And a Canadian warship, the HMCS Montreal, passed through the Taiwan Strait yesterday as part of Canada's commitment to an open Indo-Pacific. This action drew criticism from China, which claimed it undermined peace and stability in the region. Canada's Defense Minister Bill Blair emphasized the transit as a reaffirmation of Canada's strategy to increase its naval presence in the Indo-Pacific. So a lot of stuff going on. We also have a hurricane that could develop in the Caribbean or the Gulf of Mexico. We have a disturbance over Haiti right now with a 70% chance of development over the next 7 days. Okay, I've looked at some of the models, and right now they're showing a tropical depression in the Florida Straits by the end of the weekend. Okay, so if you live in Florida and if you live near the Gulf of Mexico, you need to be on high alert. It does appear that this thing is going to go into the Florida Straits and then into the Gulf of Mexico. And we've seen in the past how storms can rapidly intensify in the Gulf of Mexico, very warm waters there, okay? And that's just fuel for these storms. We also have a G2 geomagnetic storm watch for August the 3rd to August the 4th. A G2 class storm is kind of on the lower to medium end of strength, but auroras may be visible in the northern part of the U.S. from New York to Idaho. Okay, so this coming weekend, keep your eyes to the north and get up on high ground away from light pollution. And if you have clear skies, you might see some lights on the horizon. And we have massive amounts of heat advisories and excessive heat warnings across the U.S., probably 50 plus million people under heat advisories and heat warnings. Okay, actually more than that, probably 100 million people here under heat advisories and excessive heat warnings. So stay inside, stay cool, don't do anything strenuous outside. Okay, if you do have to go outside and do stuff outdoors, do it in the evening after 5 p.m. and bring some water with you and a rag. You can soak the rag with water and use that to cool your face and cool your neck. Okay, so that's pretty much it, guys. I will be back later on tonight, possibly with some more breaking news, and I will be visiting some family this weekend, so you might see reduced updates from me a little bit, but I will bring my equipment with me and I will try to maintain my 24/7 streams. And if anything happens in the Middle East, I will try to go live and cover it. Okay, and I do have a radio consultant on standby to help us with the nuclear forces and the emergency action messages to understand what's going on. So until later on, take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 Ps: prepare, practice, and persevere.